She heard Ole in a cubicle of a university in Sampaloc, Manila. This happened to a friend of mine in 2018, during our second year at a particular university in Manila. She was in the College of Architecture, which means long nights, stress-induced breakdowns, and a lot of time in buildings most students try to avoid after dark. One particular evening, around 9:30 p.m., she was in the main building finishing a plate. The halls were already half empty, and the janitors had begun their rounds. She went to use the comfort room on the second floor, the one with the broken third stall door and the flickering overhead light. Everyone in our course knew it was sketchy, but it was the closest one to the drafting rooms. She told me everything felt normal at first, until she heard someone enter the cubicle next to hers. The footsteps were uneven, like the person was limping or dragging something. Then came the crying, soft at first, like someone trying to stifle sobs. My friend stayed quiet. It wasn't her business. But then the crying turned into chanting. Ol, 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 over and over again. The voice sounded strange, strained, as if it had been screaming for hours before whispering that word. Ol. It was barely a word, but it was being said deliberately, rhythmically. My friend froze. She didn't recognize the term. She assumed maybe it was Latin, or some kind of cultural phrase. And she told herself not to freak out. Then the voice stopped. Dead silence. She waited a few seconds. No movement. Nothing. And then the voice whispered, louder and closer than it should have been. Ol. Ol. That's when she noticed it. The shadow. There was a silhouette on the tiled floor of the stall, long hair dangling, facing the shared divider between their cubicles. But what made her stomach drop was the shadow's position. It was upside down, as if the figure was crawling on the ceiling, head hanging down into her stall. Still, she didn't look up. She didn't say anything. She finished quickly, stepped out as calmly as she could, and sprinted the hell out once she reached the hallway. A week later, she was in the library and casually told one of the janitresses what she heard. The old woman went pale and asked her to repeat the word. When my friend said "ol," the woman crossed herself and muttered a prayer. Then she leaned in and said something that still gives me chills. That's an old warning, from way back. The ghosts here, the ones that hang above the stalls, they say "ol" when they want you to look up. But if you do, your face becomes the next one to say it. My friend hasn't used that restroom since.